So welcome everyone. I'm Dee, and we're going to do some mindfulness work and a little meditation to get going. So let's begin by doing a check-in. So yeah, let's take a good posture, nice and upright, feet flat on the floor if you're sitting in a chair. Um, feel the length of your spine and then allow it to just settle in. Allow your muscles to just relax around the structure of your skeleton. Take a nice, deep, and calming breath. And you can close your eyes if you like and just check in with your body, mind, and spirit and just see how you are. First, we'll do kind of a quick body scan. So, starting at the head, just feel, place your awareness in the area of the head, your eyes, your sense organs around the sense of smell and taste. And moving down the body into the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. Notice if there are any areas of tension or pain or extra sensitivity. Keep scanning down into sort of the lungs, the belly, the mid back, in the area of the pelvis and the lower back, the buttocks, the thighs, the knees, the calves, ankles. Also going down the arms, the upper arms and the triceps, the elbows, forearms, the hands, the fingers. Sometimes we hold a lot of tension in the hands without really noticing it. Same for the ankles and feet. And then we'll just wrap up with the feet, the toes. Just bringing our awareness to the whole body. And now bring your attention to your inner senses, the sense of what's happening in your mind, your mental awareness and state. Sometimes we can be a little hyperactive in the mind. The mind is kind of jumpy or flitting from one thing to the next. And sometimes the mind can feel a little dull or cloudy. Just get a taste for what's happening there. And then notice too, are there any charged thoughts, also known as feelings? Sometimes it's like a thought with a lot of extra energy around it. So, how are you feeling? Sometimes I like to put my hand over my heart just to check in with what might be going on in my inner world. And with this scan of our body, mind, and spirit or feelings, we're not trying to change anything. We just want to bring our awareness to it, just so that we know and kind of do a check in with ourselves. Now you can open your eyes if you've had them closed. So, yeah, sometimes just bringing our awareness to how we're doing and how we're feeling can can maybe change what's going on for us, or we can be aware of it. So, for example, if the mind is in an agitated state, um, or there's a lot going on, we might think, okay, this may not be the best time to have that difficult conversation with somebody. Or if our mind is feeling kind of dull or sleepy, fuzzy, it may not be the best time to start that new important project. And conversely, if we are feeling, really settled or, rested, then maybe it is time to tackle that big project or whatever. So it's helpful to know where you are, um, and just to bring awareness to that. So, any comments or observations about that? That sense of checking in with yourself? If you'd like, you can type something. If you have two words that you would use to describe your present moment state, what would they be? You can type that in the chat if you like, or you can unmute yourself and say what's going on for you. Feeling rushed, tired, and anxious. I'm feeling a little bit of relief now. I was starting to get a migraine and I quickly took some Advil, and I'm feeling like, I think I dodged that bullet. But also, I feel a little hyper aroused, maybe. Yeah, so it's just sometimes it's just helpful to know where we are and to check in with ourselves. Um, I was reading recently in this book by Tartang Tolku on mastering successful work. He talks a lot about developing awareness, um, so that you can sort of be in charge about what's happening with our mind states. If we don't know where we are, then we don't have very much choice, or we probably won't be very successful in trying to direct the mind to stay present, to be mindful, um, to be in a focused state. So I just wanted to read a little section from that. Um, he says, when we have not trained our awareness, we cannot separate ourselves from endlessly repeating patterns of thought. Without being aware of our awareness, we have no access to a reality beyond the contents of what we are thinking. So he's pointing here to the sense that our minds are not necessarily only our thoughts, that thoughts are generally always present, but there's another quality that sort of is aware and above, outside of those what you might call discursive thoughts, thoughts that just keep coming up, sometimes repeating thoughts. So without being aware of our awareness, we have no access to a reality beyond the contents of what we are thinking. We cannot recognize or communicate anything other than the shifting stream of thought allows. So in Buddhism, that's referred to, that state of, your constant thoughts is referred to as samsara. It's like this endlessly rising um, stream of thoughts that we don't really have much control over. So one of the nice things about cultivating our mindfulness and our awareness is that we can then kind of be the captain of our ship, so to speak. Once we are aware of our habitual patterns, then we can start to work with them. And I want to repeat something that we've talked about earlier, that we always want to bring a great deal of kindness and friendliness as we start to observe these things in ourselves. Like we might notice, well, I always have a tendency to daydream when I first, start to work, or, I can't really focus very well. So we don't want to beat ourselves up about it. And we don't want to approach mindfulness and working with our mind as another opportunity to beat ourselves up, or to get very overly energetic about controlling what goes on in our minds. Just notice with a sense of curiosity and awareness. And I wanted to ask, for those of you who were here at the last session, if you were able to work at all on the mindfulness assignment that I gave you. It was to notice the color yellow in your world. Was anybody here for that last session? Maybe not. Okay. I like to give an assignment so that there's a little bit of a little thread of continuity, so that you have something to work on each week, as sort of a way to exercise your mindfulness capacity. So last time it was just to notice the color yellow when you're going about your day. And when you notice it, just let that bring you to the present moment. Maybe you could take a mindful breath and release it, and just, let that noticing the color be sort of a cue for you to be present and take a mindful moment, and then continue on. And for myself, I forgot about the assignment for most of the time. And then, towards the end of the week, it was like, oh yeah, the color yellow. And, so um, I was able to a couple of times just enjoy, like, oh, it's that, what is it? Trying to think of the name of this flower that just started to bloom in my yard. Well, it's not coming to me, but a yellow flower. And I was just like really happy to see the color yellow. Took a nice mindful breath, and then let it go and went on with my day. And it's also can be kind of a speed bump, if you're really rushing around and then you pick up a pencil and it's yellow, it's like, oh, okay. So we'll do another assignment at the end of today, that I'll give to you. So now let's do once again a quick mindfulness meditation on concentration with joy. So the powers of mindfulness, awareness, and concentration and energy, they're all sort of interconnected. And a lot of times we talk about mindfulness, but really they're all wrapped in together. And being able to cultivate mindfulness allows us to also cultivate our powers of concentration, which can be really useful when you're trying to work on a project. Um, you can use it in many different ways at work and at home. So once again, let's take a quick moment to explore this sense of concentration with joy. So first, again, we're going to take a nice posture with a straight spine. The chin is slightly tucked, the feet are flat on the floor. We're just going to sit quietly for a few minutes and notice how it feels in your body to let go of distraction, to release thoughts of what's happening later or what will happen or what happened earlier, thoughts about other places, and just give yourself fully to this moment. Sense the wholeness, the focus of being completely present here now, the satisfaction and the natural ease and happiness, the flow that's present when you're settled in this way. If it helps, you can repeat a mantra like breathing in, calm mind, breathing out, kind heart. You'll notice that distractions will arise again and again. And gently release those distractions, stray thoughts. Just let them go. Notice it and let it go. Like a wave that's receding. And come back to focusing on your breath or your mantra. Sometimes the mind can be steady and concentrated for a minute or so. And each time you feel that sense of being settled or that sense of concentration, even for a few seconds, sense a tiny bit of ease and joy that's present in your body and mind. Just relax into that and let the joy spread. To encourage these moments, you can say to yourself, may ease increase, may steadiness increase. So let's bring that to a close. You can open your eyes if you had them closed. And tell me, how was that for you? Were you able to um, experience some steadiness in your sense of being, of concentration? Or was the mind busy and flitting from thought to thought? Jesse says, my mind was so monkey today. Yes, I have those days too. And each time you take a moment to settle the mind, it's going to be different. Sometimes you immediately go to a very calm and settled, even place. And other times you just notice, okay, my mind is, it's got a long list. There's a lot going on. Um, I'm flitting from one idea to the next, and I'm like looking at my watch, going, when is this going to be over? And it's neither good nor bad necessarily. We don't want to give ourselves a grade about our meditation or concentration or mindfulness. We just notice, okay, my mind's really busy at this moment. Anything else that you notice, or any questions about this practice? Yeah, Susan has a lot of anxiety today. Yeah. Another good thing to notice, just this is what's going on for me right now. And sometimes we can be so caught up in it, we don't even have the space between our thoughts and our feelings to notice, okay, I'm having a lot of anxiety. We just, keep moving, and sometimes that lack of awareness can get us into trouble. So I think it's worthwhile to check in with ourselves, even if it's only for a minute, just to say, okay, how am I doing? I've got a lot of anxiety. Okay, I can work with that. But I should be aware of it when I am around somebody that I typically have conflict with, or, when things are getting to be too much for me. So it's good to just cultivate this awareness. So this week I'm going to give you a simple assignment to do while you're at work. And it is this: to cultivate a light, focused awareness in your work, start with a simple, short task and see if you can be aware of what you're doing from the beginning to the end. And just be really present for what you're doing. Maybe it's, I'm just going to turn on my computer now, or I'm going to check my email but not respond to any emails. And so, just for the whole time that you are engaged with this task, just see if you can be present. If your attention begins to slip away, gently bring it back. And so, when you complete one task, then you can begin another. So, every hour, every time we begin a new task, we have an opportunity to strengthen this practice of being present for our work, um, having a sense of focus and awareness on what we're doing. As opposed to, I know we've all had those times when, the day goes by and you think, I know I did some stuff, but I don't really know what I worked on today, or it just all was a blur. So that's the challenge for this week, or the assignment is just to take a simple task and make sure that you are present and aware and focused for the whole task. Okay, any questions about that or comments? It's a quiet group today, and that's fine. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a great week ahead. I'll see you next Friday. Bye bye.